Hi, my friend. It's Pat Sloan here. Okay, first we're going to see what I got in the mail. We have to do that first. I got a card from Rose in Oregon. Got a card from Rose in Oregon, and she saw an article about somebody in her local area that grows mushrooms. A whole article about mushrooms, but this gentleman is wearing a mushroom shirt. Look how cool that is. So she thought of me and had to send me the article. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Someone else mentioned to me that I should take all the mushroom fabrics that I have and put them all in like one quilt with mushroom images, which I think is a darling idea. And I realized, I don't keep the fabric. Occasionally I do, but I don't usually keep it by like that theme, like, dog fabric or whatever. So my mushroom fabric, if it was green, it's in the green. If it was black, it's in the black. And so I'd have to go through and find it. But I thought that might be kind of fun one day to go through and try to collect it all up and see actually how many pieces of mushroom fabric do I have. I probably have quite a bit. Probably do. Okay, this other one came from Sharon. And she had it sent to me, so I don't know which state Sharon is in. But this cracked us up, Sharon, us meaning Greg and I, because when it came, Greg was here, and when I was opening it, so I have to. All right, so first it came in this box, and it's a little spooky. So we're gonna keep the box because it's gonna fit really nice for storing it. But here we go. Because everybody should have a spooky sewing machine at Halloween. This is so awesome. It has, I haven't figured this out, but I had to get a battery, I think, for it. But it has a little light, its little mouth. I don't know if the mouth will open when I run it, but it's spools up here and the needle. It's just... It's just the best. So I'm going to have a little spooky corner. I think I have another skull head. I didn't have it out. My neighbor gave me. She does a lot of Halloween. So I'll have to make a little spooky quilt for him. It's a boy. It's a boy, I think. Okay. Sharon, this is amazing. Mwah. Thank you so much for making Greg and my day with this one. We're dying. It is so awesome. Now today I've got this finished, but I want to show you a couple of clips as I was doing it, because a bunch of you had different questions, and so I was answering that. So let's take a look. Several people suggested, like, what did a pink look like? So I thought I'd do a little mock-up of just adding some pink in here. It's, to me, way too light. I mean, I knew this pink was very light, and when it just sort of does nothing for me to add the pink in there. Now maybe if it was a different shade of pink, I'm using actually the piece that's here. This piece is slightly darker, not a whole lot. So I don't think it's going to really matter from this fabric line which pink was added in there. For me, it is way too light. It's distracting. If you did just pink and gold or pink and black, either way, it just does nothing. Whereas you look down here, I think that's very vibrant. It looks really good. Somebody else wanted to know, what does it look like if you rotate these? So they don't connect, so they're going to float. They're not going to connect like down here, like it makes a pennant, which is sort of what I was looking for, that image. But this is nice. I think this is nice. If you're using directional fabric like me, then you'll be working on keeping the things so that you don't have upside down bunnies and cabbages and tomatoes and pumpkins. So anyways, there's what that looks like. These are all connected, so they're all connected now into that unit. See, they're already a unit. So you can mess around. If they were still half square triangles, you could make a zigzag. You could do different things. I'm sure some people will do some other options. So that's some auditioning, and I am going to flip those back and get it all sewn up. It is looking so good, but I do have to show you something because I don't know about you. I don't know what you'll think, but I was pressing this, and that's the first time that I noticed that these two bunnies, not sure I like that happening. I showed it to Mr. Greg, who immediately started laughing. So, that tells you that, doesn't it? It's like, so, would you leave it in, or would you switch it out? There are other funky little ones like half bunnies here, and the bunny with a pumpkin in its face. There's one that's another partial bunny. They don't bother me. But this guy, that's a little much. That's a little much. Okay, tell me what you would do. Tell me, tell me. So what do you think? What do you think about the double bunny there, which I really am not very fond of how that turned out, that one spot. So I do have, because I changed my mind with the yellow, and because I used, actually, did you notice I have 4 yellow and 3 black. So that means I have a bunch of these half square triangles. Plus, I did sew and flips for the flying geese, so I have a bunch of these. So I'm actually going to take all of these eventually. I'm sidetracking here, but I'm going to take all of these and make like a strip to run maybe like horizontal along the back of the quilt for the backing if I don't use a wide back for this, because I'm thinking I might have used parts of the fabric that I didn't use, like the apple fabric. I think I have plenty to use parts of that on the back. So anyways, I'm going to take all these and sort of piece them into something that can maybe do a strip along the back side of half square triangles. But I need to find one of these, and I think whichever I pick, it will be like, I could, if I want to get rid of most of the bunny, let me just grab this, hold on. Let's take a look at options. I have all of these half square triangles, and okay, none of them are going the proper direction, which is fine. They'll go sideways. So I picked some that going sideways maybe would be okay. Like, I can't really fix the flying geese one because I've already trimmed behind. It is easier to take out a half square triangle and just put a new one in. So if I do this one, then the pumpkin, there is a little gap. There is a little gap between the pumpkin and the bunny, so that's not so bad. If I do one like this, I've got like I don't know, some duck feet there that I'm not so keen on, so we're not going to do that one. Here's one with the shovel, which has got like a nice horizontal line, the shovel does. So here we go. So, I think that's not too bad. I think I'm going to go with the shovel. So what I have to do is just unsew from like here to here, and then unsew this, and then unsew that side, and then pop this one out and put a new one in, because yes, I just cannot live with that. Cannot live with that. Well, that's done. Only took a few minutes, and yeah, no weird double bunny in a weirdo spot. Can't have that. Can't have that. Now tell me in the comments here at YouTube, would you leave it? Would you even notice it? Would you, if you noticed it, would you fix it? Curious, just curious. Also, I now have all these half square triangles. These are from the flying geese, and these are the ones that I made that I didn't use, because I ended up with 4 yellow across and 3 black. So quite a few of both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these together to make, like for the backing, like a strip on the back of it, probably horizontal or vertical, because I think I'll have enough of the apple to use part of that for the backing, and then use up some of the other fabrics in the line and just do the backing like that. So these will go together and make some sort of neat little strip on the back. Haven't done that for a while, so I think that'll be really fun. Now I'm going to take the rest of this guy down off the wall for now and put out my 4 patches that I've done so far. They're coming along. For the 4 patch blocks, go up there. Let me tell you that the Jolly box is available to pre-order. This is similar to the Halloween, the spooky box, where it's a mystery project and a bunch of little goodies and stuff, and a great big coupon usually in there for something. There's always a coupon for something. And so if you want to get in on this mystery box, you want to pre-order, there are always a few extra. Just depends on, how it goes, but these always go fast. The spooky box and the Christmas one, the jolly box, always go fast. So once you get on all that, there's a link in the description box and at my website today. My friends at the Confident Stitch, they have this swatch club that I know a lot of you love. It's called We Quilt the City. It's their swatch club, and you can get it for fabric, for cotton, for quilts, or they also have a clothing version as well. And this quilt that's here is the kit that goes with the swatch club for this quarter. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So you can order that, and if you are a member of the Swatch Club, you get 10% off the kit. And so I always like showing these because they're a great value and they do such an awesome job with the project. And the gnome family has a home. I don't have a picture yet because it just shipped the other day, but it is going to Candy in Illinois. And I'm going to read you what Candy wrote because this is a perfect home for the gnomes. She says, I would love Norm, Nanette, and family to come live in my special education classroom. She says, I think they could assist students in all of their classwork. I know Norm and Nanette would inspire students with their creative writing and in geography classes. She says, I can also see Norm and Nanette making geometry fun. You know, our patchwork, right? I think most of the students would enjoy creating their own scaled paper versions of the gnome family. And I also think our school CATS commitment programming could create a gnome quilt club. Isn't that fun? So they are going to Candy, and she said that she will send me a photo after they arrive. Thank you, Candy, for leaving such a wonderful note about how the gnomes could help your classroom. I think it's a perfect place for them to go. Thank you, thank you. And the Leckerli cookies. I had 3 names I pulled and emailed everybody. Gwen liked the tin with the trees. Kathy said that it brought back awesome memories of when she lived in Germany. And she says she also loves gummy bears. She liked the children's tin. That was her favorite. And then Karen loved the Alpine tin. So they've all been emailed. And if you've emailed me back already, then I've sent on your order to Sandy Lee, the owner of Leckerli Cookies. And of course, all of you can still order cookies and tins yourself for gifts and for yourself for the holidays. So here are the blocks for the free 4-patch, the Fat Quarter 4-patch pattern from the Fat Quarter shop. And so it's using the fat quarters as big squares and then these 9 patches where the alternating fabric is just the 4 blocks of the 9 patch, which gives it a fun, different look. Let me just hold one of them up for you. And I'm using this Isabel fabric, and I bought the petite fat quarter bundles, and I have 2 of those. So there'll be 2 of every block from what I'm using. So there's more of those. So if you love this, plus there's some of the other fabrics that weren't in those petite bundles, like the flag fabric on blue, on medium blue, like this fabric. You can still get yardage of this on medium blue. It's beautiful. And the dots, let me just show you the dots. There's dots, there's the pink, but there's also one with white and blue, which is beautiful. So if you like this concept, you can still get these fabrics and do a quilt like this. You could just buy some, the pieces you like, or you could buy one of the bundles and maybe then some extra pieces, something like that. So I have this light blue paisley all cut. So I've got that cut, and I still have a few more of the pieces to cut up, and there'll be 2 blocks each because the setting is 4 by 5. And so right there I've got it almost a 3 by 3, but the 4 by 5 setting, and then it will be 60 by 75, which is an awesome size. You can increase that a little bit by adding a border to it. If you want it a little bit wider, add like maybe a 4-inch border, something like that all the way around. That would be so nice. Here it is straight on. Now, there are a few more fabrics that I'll be doing, such as I just showed you the paisley, and that will break them up so they won't have this, row. Although you could do that, except that I only have 2 of each. So, you could chunk them, you could do some other kind of design. I'll play around when I have all of them done, but pretty much I will probably just do it random. I think that will probably be the most fun, but I might try just seeing what happens, maybe putting the very lights, but there aren't, like the 4 very lights in the middle and maybe around, I don't know. But anyways, that's what it looks like. So I've been making these while I'm sewing other projects. So I start and finish with the units, and they have just gone together so fast. And I think there's so many different fabric lines that would look really great in this. I'm thinking of doing a drawing room, take my drawing room fabric and doing one next, because I think that would be really pretty. A great quilt for and it's a free pattern, so it's a great quilt for doing a charity project, especially like if you have like a lot of maybe miscellaneous fabrics. If you color coordinate them, this will be so spectacular. Also, I think it'd be really cool if you got one of the color bundles where they're like all blues. You might find that that will really be a stunning quilt as well. You could do a blue and white. So nice. Just awesome. Very awesome. I also have the apron cut out to sew. So that is here to sew. So I thought I would just wrap up today with a little Q&A, because a few of you did leave questions here at YouTube that weren't just asking me where to find the pattern I talked about, which is always in the description box below the video. That's where those are. Look there. So anyway, let me get the questions. So let's do some Q&A. Several people said when I was sitting down the other day, they go, well, we like when you sit down. And I'm like, really? There's a difference when I sit down? I found that very fascinating. I don't know, it doesn't look any different to me, except that I've got to make the camera come way down here. It's almost pointing straight down at this point, so that I'm actually in the camera because I'm sitting here. And I have to sit in this little corner being all squished up, so it's not terribly comfortable, but I'll just do it for this. So a few Q&A. Sonia says, how do I organize my works in progress? And do I ever get overwhelmed, with how many that I have going on at a time? Okay, works in progress. I have containers and baskets for each one, and I have a schedule. I know when I'm working on them and what day I'm working on them, and that schedule you get, and you can download it as a project planner. Now, she isn't working on my projects, but you can do the same thing. You have your big project you're working on, and then you have your smaller projects. You decide you work a big project on Mondays, the smaller projects Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you repeat. The bigger project on Friday, the smaller projects the next 3 days, if you're going to work every single day of the week on your projects. If you're not going to work every single day of the week on your projects, then you decide which days you are and how are you going to manage to get it done if you have a deadline. It's all scheduling and deadlines. That's the key to everything. Schedules and deadlines and containers. Lots of containers. Let me show you mine. I have baskets like this for some projects where there's, you've seen them. You see them on my table all the time. This is Block Wednesday. This is a project for whatever it is that's on my table. Oh, it's the chicken salad that goes in there. I've got it on the table right now. See, there it is. But I also have these project bins. And so they're labeled. Here's the Christmas star. Here's the barn star. Here's something with a bunch of critter quilt stuff. This is Block Wednesday, which I'm actually using this, so that's actually empty. Although there's a piece of paper in there, I don't know what that is, etc., etc. And so that's what I do. But really, it's the schedules that are key, and this is just to keep it tidy. And so I don't have all these projects out on my table at once. What do I have? The cross stitch. This is the sheet I was just showing you. And that's the bin for the chicken salad, because I have to put I have to make the apron block, which is sitting there. And so that's how it all, that's how you keep it tidy. And that's how you keep sane, because you can't be having stuff like all out. You have to keep it contained and get it out when you're going to work on it. Pull that bin out when you're going to work on it. Don't have it out on your table when you're not working on it. So that's how I do things. So the key is, what's that word? It's an S word, schedule, 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 schedule. That's the key to not feeling overwhelmed. Some people said, do I get stressed out? Not really, no. I mean, there are periods of time when I have scheduled way too many things as life happens. But in the last few years, I have balanced things a little differently so that my business is a little different than it used to be now that I don't travel on the road. And so that is made a huge change in my daily workflow and how I handle things. But for those of you who are not a business, I mean, you have to remember I'm a business, and remember that I have scheduled things my entire life. Ever since I got my first job at 18, I have been doing schedules. I have had to deliver things on time, projects on time. And so doing quilt projects to a schedule is just what I've done my whole life. So if that's not how your life has been, if you are not a scheduler, you've never had to do deliverables, you'll make friends with that part of yourself, and then things will be much, much easier. So I will leave the rest of the questions for another day. I can give you ideas about stress, but really when you think about stress, you have to think about what is stressing you and what's the item that's stressing you, not just sewing in general, right? There's something. Usually, what is it? The D word, it's the deadline. It's the deadline. You have a deadline for something and it's looming and you're not going to make it. That's stressful. So thank you. I love that question. It was really good. I loved getting a few more questions besides where is Project XYZ. And I will save the other ones and do one on another day. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.